Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of From Idea to Market. I'm Patrick Bentley, the founder of LaunchTrail, and every week we bring to you a new entrepreneur who is going to give you some ideas to boost your business. So this week we've got Vibeke Foss. Now Vibeke is known as the Gorgeous Geek, and I really like that. And she is a expert at creating web design for entrepreneurs and coaches. So we're going to talk to her today about some of the things that she does, who her clients are, and the ways that she helps entrepreneurs to create websites that convert. So Vibeke, how are you?
I'm really good. Thank you very much.
Nice. So where are you joining us from today, Vibeke?
I am in Barcelona, in Spain.
Awesome.
Although I'm originally from Norway, but I lived abroad many years. And
Wonderful.
I've
I
been
live
here
abroad
for
too.
a long
So I
time
didn't
now.
mention
Yeah,
that.
it's nice.
I didn't mention that before. Yeah, but I'm actually, I am American if you couldn't tell from my accent, but I currently live in Bahrain, which is a small country in the Middle East, right outside of Saudi Arabia. So I am also living abroad and enjoying it a lot, so that's awesome. So look, let's go ahead and start. So first question is, who is your ideal client, Vibeke?
My ideal client, I have like niche. Like my ideal client is a female coach entrepreneur. Okay. That's how I started out, being very female entrepreneur focused. But I realized now with this whole kind of pandemic and crisis and everyone's rethinking thing, I was thinking, actually, I work also with a lot of men now, and I work with small businesses. So it has expanded to be really working with coaches and small businesses. Still, I think, mostly females, but I just realized the last month I have more male clients, and
we all need help.
So
we all need help.
Yeah, no, and it's really interesting. I could go on a topic about how women and men work differently and stuff, but that will be a long podcast.
I would like to hear
really
more
find
about
it very interesting how the differences in
I would like
approach
to
to
hear more
entrepreneurship.
about that. I'd like to hear more about that after the interview. Yeah, for sure. So what is the actual problem that you solve, Vibeke?
People would think that like tech is the part that I solve. Of course, that is the problem that people come to me for. But I think the greater value is that I help people understand how to prepare content that really like connects with their website visitor. How do you get people's attention these days? What words to use? Because for me, it's like the technical part, and having a pretty website isn't just enough. It needs to create some kind of reaction in the reader or in the visitor.
Yeah.
So I help a lot with making people understand. We talked a bit about this before. Yeah. We started the interview. It's like, what do you do? Who do you do it for? Are things clear? Do you know what you're doing yet? And it's big questions that sometimes I need to help them through, and that I really enjoy doing. So yeah, it's part of kind of the whole website creation is like, how do you communicate your business plan basically through the website?
Yeah,
so it's clear to people what you help with.
Is vital, right? So I would say, I was explaining this to someone yesterday that, so people come to me, and when they come to me, they're like, I am not technical. That's what they say, right? They're like, I am not technical. But the truth of the matter is that like, that's not really what I'm helping, my customers do either, right? Like we're helping our customers to actually figure out what is the problem that they're actually solving. And then how do you deliver that, which is much different. And then how do you refine it and measure it? So there's much, and like you said, like there's much more to a website. Actually, the tech is the easy part, if I had to say, right? Like that's actually the easy part. It's really
that's the least.
yeah. That's kind of like, okay, we got your website up. Now let's actually make it do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So the next question is then, so what are some of the symptoms that people have when they first come to you looking for help?
I mean, if I consider that I solve like two problems, the tech and the content part, the symptoms with the tech is like the people who try to do it themselves, they get overwhelmed and frustrated, and it's a lot of options out there. So it's hard to know where to start and what you need for your specific business. So that's on that area. When it comes to the content, I think it's just difficult to see your own business from the outside. So it's like, even though everyone knows what they're doing and that's why they started the business, they have a talent and a skill they want to share with people, but they don't know how to communicate that or find the right words or find out which words really work. So that's the thing that I see is like, okay, when I say, like, okay, do you have any website content ready? A lot of people say, oh, some of it. But eventually, when I start to ask the questions, they're like, oh yeah, I need to think about how to present this in a way that it makes sense for people when I communicate it, be it on the website or in a networking event or anywhere, really.
Okay.
Just going back to what you just said, like, what is the exact problem you solve?
Yeah, and
It's amazing how many websites who kind of, you go in and it's not clear what exactly are you helping who with.
Like, what do you do?
Yeah, and it's really that's kind of this kind of confusion state that people come into, and it's difficult. I mean, even for me, I have someone help me with my website to see, like, is my message coming through with these words?
I think we all need help.
See that.
We all
Definitely,
need it. Yeah, because like you
yeah,
said, I think
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think that was a really good point that you made about it's hard to see your business from the inside. Like, and I think that I have that problem too, right?
Yeah. I see, like, experts, content experts, and I see their website, and I'm thinking, yeah, but you didn't manage it for yourself. I mean, I don't really say that straight, but sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm like marketing and content, and then sometimes even like I go to my own website, it's like, am I walking the talk here? I have some courses, and sometimes I have to take my own course. Like, is it clear on my? So it's like, yeah, you kind of forget. It's just
Absolutely.
why we have coaches, I guess, coaches and
we all need them. We all need mentors. We all need coaches.
Definitely.
Like, I think it's sometimes it's better to just pay people to do it than for you to do it yourself.
It saves time. I mean, I did the typical mistake in the beginning. I didn't really invest enough. I mean, it's also a process. I think it's also like a self-development process when you start a business.
Oh, so true.
Some things I was maybe not ready for, but sometimes I think if I just had paid someone, I wouldn't have spent all this time figuring things out on my own. And it's like, you can say it, and then it's really hard to do it if you feel like in the beginning you want to save money. Like a lot of people want to do, especially like, coaches, people who, they're the business, they're alone. Using their savings. They're not having investors and stuff. So that's, of course, feeling. I understand it. And then I think, like, I had a lot of money when I started, but you don't realize how much money you really have when you have a job. And
so true.
Things are coming in, and I think I could have invested.
It's coming back, man. Like, you at least know it's going to be there the next 2 weeks, right? Like, that's the thing. Right? Like, Okay, so the next question, and you sort of touched on it before, is, so what are some of the common mistakes that you see people make when they're trying to solve this problem on their own?
Yeah, exactly. It is really just spending too much time finding solutions, maybe more than asking for help. And I talk from my own experience as well. I'm horrible at asking for help. Whenever I finally do it, I'm like, why didn't I just ask? Even technical stuff, like there are different languages for websites. So sometimes I need maybe PHP, which I don't know so much about.
Right.
And I have a guy who knows PHP, like, just ask him instead of trying to learn a whole language on your own. And I say that with people with their website, like, don't spend 3 hours. I have a Facebook group where people can ask me tech questions for female entrepreneurs. I was like, ask me the question, because sometimes it's a 2-minute job for me to reply to you. It seems complicated when you don't know it, but that's the thing. If something doesn't work technically and I don't know that language, I'm like, oh my God, how much I'm going to pay for this? And then someone's like, oh yeah, you just click this button. And I'm like, yeah. Asking for help, great thing. Like, and most of the time you can maybe even get it either for free, depending of the problem, or it doesn't really cost that much. So I think that's the thing. Like, reach out and get some help. Like,
that's good advice. And, I should take that.
A lot of resources. Yeah, a lot of resources online for that. And I offer a lot of that as well to my audience as well, kind of this thing. So I always encourage people, like, ask me if it's going to be an expensive question. I will let you know. I'm not going to, it's like, don't be scared to ask and then say, hey, this is a good question. But
okay, cool.
The answer has,
So what's one valuable free action that our listeners could take today to start building websites that help them convert better?
I would say to anyone, either in the building phase of the website or even people already have a website, to really just have a look at your own website, go in and look before you start scrolling. Is it clear exactly what problem you solve? Is it clear who you help? And this is my favorite part. Does your message there create some kind of emotional response? This is, for me, the best part about websites. And with emotional response, I mean, you want to come into a website. Let's say I'm going into your website. I'm like, oh my God, this is exactly what I need. Like, this person is helping people like me with problems like mine. So you want some kind of yes reaction, as in, oh yeah, this is my situation, or this is my feeling, or this is exactly what I need. Ideally, you want to go into your website and make sure that your visitors will have that experience before they scroll and click, so that you get their attention and they know they're in the right place. Because a lot of people fall off websites because it's not clear what's going on. It's like, hey, people are getting happy lives. So it's like, yeah, what do you mean happy life? Happy life, you know, at least life coaches is like, yeah, happy life. It's very general.
Right.
Do you help
Absolutely.
people eat healthier? Do you help people overcome some kind of childhood trauma? Do you help people, you know, get a better career? Like, you have to be very specific with that problem. Well, what can I call it? What exactly you help with, even though you can help with many things. What is the biggest thing?
Absolutely.
And everything else you can help with can be add-on services. You can talk about it later, but you can't say, I'll help people with 10 things. People just go, whoa. That clear message, that's a challenge. That's a challenge, of course. But this is the thing. You want to get people's attention. It's known now, it's like we have less attention span than a goldfish online officially. So we have a lot to say, but that's kind of the thing. Go and just ask yourself these questions. Have someone help you, maybe. You know, ask them what do you see that I help people with mostly. Other people can help you with that better. But these 3 questions is like, okay, is it clear what you do, who you do it for? Does it create an emotional response? That will help a lot already to just get people kind of sucked into your website and wanting to read more, which is what you want. You want people to keep clicking and move them through the website.
Great. So what is one valuable free resource that you could point our listeners to that can help them to start building towards a better website?
I do have a website planner, which I think it's like the best first step, just to understand what does my website need. It's not talking about the technical part, it's talking about these things that I mentioned here. Like, what do you need to have on the different pages? What do you need to think about in terms of communicating on your website? What is the purpose of your website? Like, why do you have a website? And just, it gives you that kind of clarity points, like, oh yeah, because a lot of people, when I ask them, like, what is the purpose of your website? They go, oh yeah, they never really thought about the purpose more than like, you have a business, you're supposed to have a website.
Right.
So the website planner just gives you the right, like, okay, this is what you want to achieve. This is what you need to think about. These are some elements you really need to have there if you want to have a website that really works.
All right, shoot, I need to check that out myself, man. So I'll make sure that we put that link there. So that the listeners can come in and check that out. You guys heard it. Website planner. I need it 90% of the time. You probably need it too. So take care of that. So the final question, Vibeke, is, so what's the one question that I didn't ask you, but I should have? And then, of course, what's the answer?
I think the question would be, although we touched upon it a little bit, is like, how can people get more clients from their website? It's touching upon all the things we have here, but it's the messaging, of course, is the important thing. Like, how do you connect with people? But that's just like the first step. What I mentioned now with the thing, like the 3 questions to ask, you know, what do you do, who do you do for? That's when you get their attention. But how do you keep their attention? So, and what do you want? Because I said, like, what is the goal of your website? And for me, the goal of your website is you want people to book consultation calls with you, usually, depending on your business model. But for most service entrepreneurs, small businesses, you want to have that conversation and get someone face-to-face in front of you to be able to create a connection and see what people need, learn about them, and ideally move them towards wanting to become clients. The website really, for me, serves as the tool to do that. That's where you get your message across. That's where, when people come in, you need a strategy to think, okay, I got your attention now. What do I do next? What do they want to do next? And what do I want to do next? Combine those 2 things to lead people through your website. So either they end up contacting you, or the most important thing, of course, is like, a lot of people won't be able to contact you on first glance, depending if they found your website like on Google.
Right.
Most people go like, oh yeah, this looks nice, but like, I don't know this person. And also taking the step to contact someone is a bit scary. What does it mean in terms of commitment? Am I going to be nagged now with a lot of like sales approach and stuff? So the second thing is really like, okay, you want people to contact you, but those who don't contact you, you want to get their email address, basically. The whole thing with the freebie or high value gift, whatever people want to call it, to have something that leads people towards one of these two. Like if they're not ready to contact you, like the second option, okay, you might not be ready to contact me, but here I give you something for free. And for me, I'm going to actually have a course about this that I'm going to launch next week, how to set that whole thing up. But it's like, someone told me they felt it was sleazy to have like a freebie. And I was like, no, but if it's like, I see, it's like, it's the first step to the solution to their problem. If you have the right kind of freebie, you really want it. They really want it. So the work is to find out what is it that they really want so much that paying for that freebie with your email address seems like nothing. So for me, that's like kind of, you know, to get more clients from a website is like, yeah, you get your attention, you try to get them to contact you. Those who are not ready, try to catch their email address, and of course, stay in touch with emails that are cool and valuable and not spammy. And that's a whole topic as well, of course, but it's more like, when people are ready to work with someone, you want to be on top of their mind. As, oh yeah, you know, that's like, oh, this chick who keeps sending this really good stuff about websites, for example. They're like, yeah, I get an email every now and then. And the moment they're like, oh yeah, I need some help right now. Maybe sometimes it's like 2 years later, 3 years later. I had people on my mailing list for years. They don't say a beep until one day it's like, oh, I love your emails. And I was like, you signed up 3 years ago. Now they're ready, you know? So you never know.
Yeah, someone told me it was like
to keep in touch with people.
Yeah, they were telling me it's like being on Amazon. They're like, you know, think about how many times you go to Amazon and you know that you want to buy a thing and you put it in your cart, but then you just don't buy it, right? Like you just don't buy it. Then later on you come back and you're like, okay, now I'm ready to buy, you know, and that's how we kind of have to be thinking about our customers. That's really, really great.
Yeah, and with services, you never know what happens in their life. So
for sure.
Sometimes they're ready and sometimes it's like almost ready, but not quite.
Yeah, I agree. So Vibeke, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much. You guys make sure you take advantage of the free website planner that Vibeke has. I'll make sure that we put that, the link. You can check her out at gorgeousgeek.com. I'll make sure that we put the link though for her free giveaway, which is the website planner. And thank you so much, Vibeke, for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. So it's really good.
Yeah.